and welcome to the second episode of the Percy Jackson series
Woo,
of Yeah, We Read It. I am one of
woo.
your hosts, Maggie,
And I'm also one of your hosts. My name is Laura.
and we are reading the second book in the Percy Jackson and the Olympians series, The Sea of
These
Monsters.
monsters.
Basically, Rick Riordan's Odyssey. Yeah, that's
Period. And that
period.
time, and that time period, it's basically his Odyssey, but also the shortest book in the series. And I had a blast. This was so much fun, clocking in at just under 300 pages, and another adventure for Percy. Now that he's all in on being a half blood.
Something really cute that I did read about Riordan, whatever. He wrote these books for his kids who had ADHD and
Aw.
dyslexia, and he would read them stories every night. Like the gods had the same ADHD and dyslexia that they had, so they felt really special. And then that's why he started writing these books was for his kids.
No, I was thinking that as I was writing my notes today, that really the big moral theme I think of all of these books is like it does not matter if you are different or don't fit in. There is still a place for you, which we'll absolutely get into with Tyson's character. I just think it is so sweet. It makes my heart so big and happy, and I feel like I'm just smiling every time I'm reading these books.
I know. I can't wait to have my nephews and niece read these books because they're
Yes,
incredible. So
100%.
good.
All right, let's dive into Funky Town, which is the Lost Percy Jackson book. I hope
Gotta make a move to a town that's right for me.
Percy Jackson and the Funky Town.
And the Funky Town Brothers. So the last Percy Jackson ended with him going back to the real world, living
Yep,
with his mom, and
yep,
he is going to be starting off at a new academy and has been actually there for a year. He hasn't had any
yeah,
problems, which is
yeah.
awesome.
Love this for Rick Riordan's storytelling style. We're doing a big jump. We're jumping to the end of the new school year. He's at this new academy. He's really only friends with one guy whose name is Tyson, and he is a big old sensitive lug. He's also like 6'4" at the age of 14, which is like insane and unheard of. So that's really what he's been dealing with like for the past year, just trying to get to camp, really.
Trying to get to camp. He's excited because thank God, graduating. I'm out of here today. His mom seems a little bit hesitant about him
Yeah.
getting to camp because Chiron actually wrote his mom and was like, hey, they've been having problems. I don't know if Percy should come, but last day at Merriweather Prep Academy,
Mm.
and he's heading in with Tyson. You know, big guy gets picked on.
Yeah.
Pretty sus. The Merriweather Academy says there's no Tyson actually enrolled in the school, but people
Weird.
seem to know him because they're picking on him
Yeah.
all the time.
Exactly. And I will call out before we get too far into this that everybody, the person we've been calling Chiron for the past now book and into this, we learned from our friend Brian that it's actually pronounced Chiron because he's more familiar with Greek mythology and Greek things than us. So I'm going to try and implement that for this episode.
Laura's laying down the law. Thank you, Brian.
Now,
Chiron, that's our guy. He is just
um,
saying, no, no, don't come back to camp.
but back to Percy. He's kind of like, great, final exams, like we're doing it, we're gonna go to camp. Everything's been very chill for him this past year compared to his last school. And then it turns into gym class, and there's this bully named Billy, and he's noticing that Billy's hanging out with these guys that he's never seen before. And then he's realizing that those guys are actually monsters, and it turns into this big dodgeball battle. And I love this call out here because Percy is like, I wonder what people are seeing through their like mist vision right now. Because as we know, the mist really changes the perspective for the humans around. So, like, does it just look like a really wicked game of dodgeball? It ends up with a Percy and Tyson hiding in the locker room. A fire starts, and Annabeth crashes through the wall in the locker room and is like, "Hey, we gotta get going." So
We gotta
really,
get
0 to a
going.
100.
Exactly. She stabs one of them. She's ready to go. Tyson cracks in one of their skulls, which is, good.
Cool.
Or no, he just dodges the dodgeball, doesn't he? That's what he's up
Yeah.
to. And they are headed to not be around there because Percy, as we know, he gets a bad rep in the human world. This is not going to look good for him. The news is going to be like, crazy kid at it again.
Arsonist at large. Um,
Arsonist.
And Annabeth, she's so type A. We love her. She comes and she's like, "Great, I'll call us a taxi." And Percy's like, "We don't have money for a taxi." And she's like, "We're calling a mythic taxi." And she calls a magic taxi service that is led by three sisters that share a single eye. And they all get into the most chaotic car ride of their life.
And this entire time, people are just dogging on Tyson. Not only is he getting bullied by the kids at school, Annabeth is saying things like, I'm shocked the Giants attacked you with this homeless beast around. Percy's like,
Yeah. You
we
don't even know him.
cab people are like, we don't take his kind, aka Tyson. And Percy is like, what is going on?
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah. So vibes are weird. And also, we learned that these three sisters can also kind of foresee the future. And they're like, Percy, what you're really looking for is 30, 31, 75, and 12. But we're not going to tell you what you're looking for. That's just the location. And he's like, what the hell is going on?
Very fun. So Anger, Wasp, and Tempest, they're the three ladies they're driving.
Yeah.
As we know, they share one eye, one tooth. They're like Hades' little people in Hercules, is how I remembered them.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
Percy is using the eye that has rolled to the back seat as leverage, being like, I'm going to throw it out the window. We're all going to die. If you
Yeah.
don't tell me right now what's happening.
And they eventually get dropped off at camp. And as we know, we've been hearing that camp is dangerous right now. Something's off with the magical forces that protect the space. And now there's metal bowls guarding the entryway to camp. So Annabeth, Percy, and Tyson, who's been along for this ride, even though he is not a half blood, are going to fight these bulls as they go into camp.
Annabeth is like, do not get too close. They're super hot. You are going to burn your skin off. Percy, he's a little bit out of practice, so he does roll his ankle. I imagine Tyson at the boundary lines hopping around, and he's like, give me permission, give me permission. And Annabeth's like, fine, you can come in. So Tyson comes in, and he just punches one of the bulls to shit. And we learn at this moment, he is actually a Cyclops, which is a kid of a god, nature spirit. Annabeth says something under her breath about, like, I know what god it is. It's always just one god. Always just one of
One guy
them.
with a kink for monsters. And we also learned that Cyclops are immune to fire. So that's why he's able to fight these fire breathing metal bulls so easily.
Mhm.
And the moment we get into camp, we immediately get the ball dropped. The reason, or one of the symptoms of all of this chaos that's going on, Talia's tree is dying. And that has been essentially a life force of the protection of camp. And with this tree dying, the camp is no longer protected. So everybody's a little bit more stressed now.
There's been a lot of changes. Chiron is not the activities director now. Now it is Brian. Correct me if I'm wrong, and you've listened about 10 minutes in. Tantalus is the activities director. This
Yeah.
guy who's basically been in the field of punishment forever. He's standing in a river, can't drink the river, can't eat from this tree
Yeah.
of apples that hang overhead. So he's the activities director now, and Chiron, he's getting the boot. So he is
Yeah.
packing his bags. He's kind of taken the fall of Talia's tree, and Percy is like, but you didn't poison it. And Chiron's like, no one's gonna believe me. And
Yeah.
Talia, or not Talia, Percy is just confused as to why he's taking the fall.
Yeah. Percy's kind of confused why he's not fighting for it more, but Chiron just turns to Annabeth and is like, "You take care of Percy. All right, bye." And at dinner time is when we get fully introduced to Tantalus. I'm also going to put books. All of my
Brian,
notes
fact check
auto
us.
corrected, so I've got like Taratulus, Tarantula in here a couple of times. So I'm
Tartalus, I
mad
know.
at my Apple Notes for messing with my typing.
Tartalus is what I know is the hell version of this.
Yeah,
Not saying it
exactly.
right.
We talked about that last book.
I do know Napoleon is down there because I didn't read War and Peace in my book club, and I just kept bringing up that the fact that Napoleon is in War and Peace. He's also in the underworld in this book.
Yeah.
Percy Jackson, more important than War and Peace, I'd
Um,
say.
but regardless, I gotta be honest, Tantalus is creepy as shit. He should not be an activity director at a children's camp. He also is cursed, like Maggie said, to never eat or drink. So he's kind of constantly a gag in this book. He's like always chasing a pizza, always trying to eat a burger, like always trying to like lay down the law, but also get a snack that he can never have.
He is trying to explain that he needs to punish Tyson as he is like 1978 A&W mug root beer, and it pours in his glass, and he keeps trying to he's like, "If I talk about something else and I act disinterested in my glass of root beer, it will think that I'm not trying to drink it." And the glass just like flies across the room. It's like, "You're not drinking me tonight, buddy."
Not
No,
at
no, no.
all. And he also is going to announce that chariot races are set to return to camp, and these were actually laid to rest due to how dangerous they were. So it's clear that he is trying to get some kids in some
Like,
injuries.
on one hand, yes, sure, kids got hurt and died from these chariot races in the past. On the other hand, they're not going to have to do chores for a month if they win. So, kind of a net sum positive.
And also to that point, they have all these just like horses and Pegasus laying around. Might as well get them to race in the chariot races.
And Tantalus,
Um,
he's stroking his chin like he's a Chinese philosopher. He goes, but what are we going to do with this Tyson guy? And just as he's about to probably say something like, kill him, perfect, let's do it,
yeah.
Poseidon claims him as his son, and Percy is embarrassed. He's like,
Which like sucks.
no,
Like Percy, he's been your friend all year. Now you're embarrassed that your Cyclops friend is your brother, your half brother,
I
and he's not a
know.
half blood. He's just like a monster god hybrid. And Percy
Mhm.
is already not the coolest kid at camp, so he's just going to try to keep busy over these next few days, while also processing the fact that his dad got down and freaky with some sort of nymph spirit monster type thing.
Him and Annabeth keep having a little bit of fights about Tyson, and they are
Yes.
going to team up for the chariot races until one day she is just calling Tyson a monster, and Percy's like, I'm not going to stand for that. And Annabeth is like, all right, go team up with him then. And Percy's just having a tough time. Later
Yeah.
that night, he has a dream. It's kind of a reoccurring thing that Grover keeps coming to him in his dreams. That's how the book opens. Grover
Yes.
is looking for a wedding dress. And in this dream, Grover has the wedding dress. He is telling him he only has 12 days before Polyphemus, Brian, correct me if I'm wrong,
I think
resident
that
fact
sounds right to
checker,
me. I was going to say Polyphemus.
the Cyclops from the Odyssey, finds out that Grover is a satyr and eats him because boy does this Cyclops love goats. So
Yeah.
Percy's got to get to Grover and find
Yeah, we
him.
basically learned that, Grover, who was on his search for Pan, the god of the wild, that's a trap. So he's basically kind of come to the fact that everybody else has landed exactly where he's been and gotten ate by this Cyclops. We also learned that the reason Grover is able to appear in Percy's dreams to raise the stakes a little bit more is because he's done an emotional connection with Percy, a link essentially that allows them to talk to each other via dreams. But also, if Grover dies, so does Percy. So Percy's gotta go find his bestie now.
Percy tells Annabeth he's having all these dreams before the chariot battle, but no time to talk. Chariot battles are taking off. A pair of pigeon like birds are suspiciously hovering, circling over the race as the race
Mhm.
begins, the pigeons start attacking them. There are these things called stymphalian birds.
That's awesome that you did that. I just wrote down monster birds because that was easier for me.
They essentially will strip everyone to the bone, and they got razor sharp beaks, so they got to deal with this now. And Annabeth is like, I remember that Chiron has this collection of bad music, and these kind of birds hate bad music, so they're gonna go and grab that from
Yeah.
Chiron's little collection.
So they're able to essentially stop the birds and get the race to end. They don't win, but basically everybody's chariots get combusted. It doesn't go very well. Somebody wins, I forget who. Um,
Clarice and the Ares chariot win.
yeah, and Tantalus is mad at Annabeth and Percy for the ruckus they have caused and for not winning the race. So them, along with Tyson, are going to have to deal with some sort of punishment that he will deal out later.
So Percy, Tyson, and Annabeth, they are washing dishes, and they're realizing that they need to have a quest given to them to go find this golden fleece because Chiron mentioned that the magic of the golden fleece will fix and reverse the poison in Talia's tree. And they think that if they pressure Tantalus tonight at the camp bonfire, he can't say no in front of everyone. So that's exactly what they're going to do.
And boy, does it backfire because Tantalus is like, oh, the Golden Fleece is going to save camp. Oh, I guess I'll send somebody on a quest. And he picks fucking Clarice to go on this quest instead.
Yeah, because she
Um,
won the chariot.
Yeah, and Clarice fucking sucks. I'll say it. So Clarice is gonna go talk to the Oracle and go on this quest to find the Golden Fleece. And Percy is mad because he was gonna kind of do a 2-for-1 quest, get the Golden Fleece and save Grover, but not in the cards right now.
He is tossing and turning. He does not know how to stomach this. What is he going to do? So, since he can't sleep, he's going to go to the beach in the middle of the night. And there's a runner guy just kind of on there, notices Percy has a Coca Cola. Meggie and Laura sponsored Coca Cola and goes, "Hey, Percy, can I join you in sharing a beverage sponsored by Meggie and Laura?"
I love that Coca Cola by the beach. You've heard of Cake by the Ocean, but have you heard of Coca Cola by
Coca
the
Cola
beach?
by the beach?
And the vibe of this man at first, I was very hesitant. He has a
Same.
cell phone with snakes wrapped around it, but then he's like, "No, I'm chill. I'm Hermes. I'm Luke's dad." And we're like, "Oh, he's just disguised himself as a jogger." His snakes are hilarious. They're always getting into goofy stuff.
Martha and George are their
Oh, love
names.
those guys. And Hermes, we don't know if he's kind of taking his own stab at dealing out a quest. He's like, "But Percy, what if you just went anyway?"
Yeah, he's like, "Listen, I'll help you. How about you have this compass? There's some wind that's captured inside of it." Percy cannot figure out what his motives are. And Hermes is like, "Listen, I just really want to get my son Luke back. He is riding
Yeah.
Kronos' dick way too hard. I don't like it."
There, Cronus is evil. So yeah, like Maggie said, we get that wind thermos compass thing. We also get a bottle of fun vitamins. Picture Flintstone vitamins that each different flavor and shape gives you a different immunity to something. So that's gonna come in handy. And then he's like, "Also, I have you duffel bags, and there's a ship off in the distance. Bye." Percy's is going to go on this quest, and Annabeth and Tyson are running up because they've heard Percy calling for help, one of Hermes' other plans to get them involved to get going.
And Annabeth and Tyson, they're like going back and forth. Are we going to bring Tyson? I don't know. How are we even going to get to the ship? So Percy does a little whistle. Poseidon's horsies, the water horsies, come on up. Tyson's thrilled about this. He's been trying to get close to a pony forever. His pony's name, Rainbow. They're going
Oh,
to be besties until the
these
end.
beautiful hippocampi taking them to this ship, and they're just here to have a good time. And Tyson is very sad to have to say goodbye to Rainbow as they board the ship. And it's a huge cruise ship, but nobody's on it. It's completely dead, just floating in the middle of the ocean. The vibes are weird as fuck.
It's called the Princess Andromeda. Weird, bad ghost ship
Yeah, they
smell.
find like
They
a
don't.
single room that's open and they're like, "I guess we sleep here." There's like champagne that's just in water because the ice has melted. So they're like, "What happened?" But also, we're tired.
Annabeth is like, "Let's be careful. Let's check this out in the morning." Percy has another dream about Grover in distress, and the next morning they wake up, and a part of the morning announcements is a course on disemboweling people.
Yeah, so it's like, how do we go from ghost ship to there's an intercom announcement? They exit to the deck of the ship filled with vacationers and workers alike. But the vibes are weird. Everybody's kind of just like they'll make conversation but almost with like canned phrases. Like they'll be like, "Wow, the pool is so nice today. I love to swim." So again, it's not looking well. And as they continue to look around, there's monsters out on this ship. I think they cut to a giant dog monster eating scrambled eggs in the buffet line, and there's just
Yeah.
a family waiting like to get to the scrambled eggs, not acknowledging this. So it's bad. It's real bad.
So they're like, "Let's take an aside in the bathroom. I think we need to hide since this hellhound is just nomming on bacon." And they're in the bathroom, and while they're there, they overhear Luke's voice, and they're like, "Oh no, Luke's on this ship." And he's basically saying, "We've almost recruited enough." All these crazy phrases. So they follow him
Yeah.
to a conference room where Tyson actually has really good ears. One eye, but really good ears.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, Tyson does overhear that Luke is saying they're listening at the same time that Luke grabs them. And him, his cronies, Agrius and Aureus, these like bear like humans, accost them
Yeah.
into the conference room.
Yeah, it's bad. We learned that Luke not only has enlisted another camper named Chris that's also aboard this ship, he's got spies at camp. So he is very aware of the stuff that's going down at Camp Half Blood. And he's like, "I'm going to lay it on you guys. What if you just join me? And we can be evil. We can serve Kronos, hail Kronos,
Hail
and we'll just get
Kronos.
to be evil forever and have the most power and take down Olympus because nobody should get to be a god, right?" Um, and that doesn't fly for Percy and Annabeth.
No, they say no, and then Luke retorts with something mysterious and ominous, as in saying, Percy, do you have any idea what's in store for you on your 16th birthday? Percy's like, what the heck is he talking about?
Yeah. And Annabeth is like, because she's fully aware of
Ugh.
this prophecy and she has not told him, which is also like, Meggie, if you were my bestie and I knew a
Exactly.
prophecy about what was going to happen when you turn 16, I would absolutely tell you because that's what a bestie does.
You got 3 years, and I
You
need
gotta
to
prep
prepare
that
in those three
person.
years.
Yeah, exactly. Especially how we know prophecies, they kind of flip themselves on its head. Like it could mean anything. So why wouldn't we spend the time training for that?
Exactly. But no, Luke dips on that really important information and he's like, Aureus, how about you escort them to this Draken, which I looked it up. It's a big snake like monster that they're going to be fed to. But when the brother bears are
Yeah, nice.
separated, they're not as strong. So Tyson attacks Aureus, the one that is escorting them, and Annabeth, Tyson, and Percy all jump onto lifeboats and they whiz away with the wind compass that
Woo!
Hermes gave them.
And they're like, "Oh my god, we have to tell somebody about this, but we can't call camp because Mr. D doesn't give a shit about anybody. And Tantalus is also a horrible person." So they're like, "Chiron, he has to care." So they throw a coin in the ocean. They make their little iris message. Chiron's at the club and he's like, "What? What?" And there's music thumping in the background. And he's like, "Just be safe out there, you guys." Like, he can't help them. He's no longer involved. So they're
Exactly. Chiron's putting the K in ketamine.
and the K in Chiron, there's no K in Chiron. Uh,
There's no K.
so they're just gonna have to kind of fend for themselves. Annabeth is able to spot that they're sailing past Virginia Beach, which she remembers well from her escapades running around with Talia, Luke, and herself when they were runaways. So she actually has a hideout that she can take them to.
So they go to this bungalow, and Annabeth and Percy are like, I'm hungry. Percy's like, Tyson, surely you can find a convenience store out here in the swamp. Not thinking this is actually going to manifest into anything. But Tyson comes back somehow with a dozen donuts, which honestly, I think that's very realistic because when people sent Laura and I out on drunk trips in New Orleans side quests, we were really good at collecting the bag being Taco Bell, of course.
Yeah. We could always get ourselves a Taco Bell in New Orleans. That's a given. That's that double stop Uber guarantee. While Tyson's on his side quest to get donuts, Annabeth and Percy do discuss like, hey, something's off. Luke let us go really easily, so he's got something else up his sleeve. Um, they Tyson does take them to the donut shop, and he's like, see, it's the donut shop. It is very unconvincingly called Monster Donut Shop, and as you might suspect, it's another monster trap. So they end up doing a little fight with a Hydra in the middle of this like swamp area. They succeed. They're good.
They succeed. They're good. Also, kind of a fun note about the Monster Donut place is that Annabeth said that chain restaurants pop up so fast, which Monster Donut is a chain because
Yes,
they're attached to the life force of a monster. Just kind of think about that
I
next time
love
you hit up a
that.
McDonald's.
Fun
S-
lore.
So this Hydra shoots acid at them. Percy cuts off one of their heads. Annabeth is like, "No, you can't do that. You can only defeat the Hydra with fire." And as they're saying that, this little boat comes up with a cannon. Clarice rolling up. She's shooting cannons at the Hydra until he explodes. And then she's like,
Yeah.
"Welcome to my boat. We have Dr. Pepper." Really
Yeah,
important point. They have Dr. Pepper.
really important. I would absolutely bring Dr. Pepper on my quest. But yes, Clarice has arrived with a Civil War era Confederate ship filled to the brim with the ghosts of Confederate soldiers. And that is who is helping her on her quest to go get the Golden Fleece.
Kind of telling of what side of history Ares was on.
And Clarice, because she's absolutely a horrible person.
Cancel her.
And Clarice is like, you guys, just so you know, you are expelled from camp. And they're like, there is bigger things to worry about right now on whether or not we are expelled from camp. And Clarice also will not tell them what the Oracle told her about her quest. So they're like, great, we're just going to go the same way, I guess.
They're gonna go the same way. They're realizing no one wanted to come with her and die, which makes sense. And
Yeah.
later that night, when they're asleep, Percy overhears Ares chewing Clarice out, like, "Ugh,
Yes.
they should have sent one of my sons. Women can't do anything. And
Yeah.
she's like, what if I did just kind of accept their help, Papa? And Ares is like, stolen valor under my name? Not on my watch.
No, Aries is a bad dad, just like Clarice is a bad person. They are now fast approaching the Sea of Monsters the next morning. And the one thing you got to know about the Sea of Monsters, there's multiple monsters in it, and they all do different things. And he's the ocean guy, so he's immediately like, I think if we go this way, we can at least dodge Charbolus and kind of deal with Skillis when we get there. So he's trying to plan. Clarice just plows through. She's like, nope, my quest, my plan. I'll figure it out.
Yeah. And so they are just kind of going through. I brought up a fact about Madeline Miller's Cersei on this, which
Yeah,
is we talk about Cersei later in this because it's the Odyssey, but Skyla is a sea nymph in that book that was beautiful and was turned into a six-headed monster out of jealousy,
yeah.
which is interesting. So, anyways, they are like, we gotta pick Skyla because we can just go under deck. She swipes at the heads of men. That's easy.
Let's
And
see.
then Clarice is just like, nah, we gotta go to Sharbidus. Sharbidus.
I have it in front of me. I read the book and I still cannot tell you how I should pronounce this name. And yes, I could have asked our dear friend Brian, but no, I think we needed this moment of humility to
No,
show
we're gonna
everybody
switch
how
up.
real
We're
we
gonna
are.
switch up. We're gonna switch up the name every single day. So Charby Dust sends a huge wave
Charmander.
out, pushes them over to Skyla's side, who starts picking them off. But luckily, she's picking up the Confederate soldiers. Skyla is on the right side of history.
Yes, yes. Skylar's an ally.
Annabeth is like, we have to get the lifeboats, and Percy is like, not until I get Tyson, because Tyson went back down into the boiler room to try to like fix everything. But Skyla, as he's saying this, picks up his knapsack, and then the boat explodes, and she just drops him, and he hits his head. He,
Ugh.
thank God, wakes up on a lifeboat, but it's with Annabeth. Tyson is presumed dead.
Yeah, Tyson's gone. How scary. He did that trying to save everyone to stop the ship from combusting because the boiler room was doing too fucking much because Clarice is a bad person. Um, so Percy and Annabeth in silence in this rowboat, just kind of dealing with the fact that they lost Tyson. I don't think they really care about Clarice, honestly. It's getting the vibe that they're more bummed about Tyson.
It's
But
fair.
Percy finally is like, Annabeth, you gotta tell me what the fuck happens when I turn 16. And Annabeth lays it on him, basically saying that the prophecy foretells that one child of the big three, when they turn 16, will decide the fate of Olympus. So, really tying into the fact that if he were to go with Luke, or what is going to happen in these next few years. So, it's a very, very big deal of this prophecy, and they don't want to overwhelm him, but they do need to train him for it. And as they're kind of dealing with this, they wash up to a resort spa on the coast of an island.
It's a beautiful spa, luau. They're gonna separate Annabeth. They're like, wow, we're gonna make you beautiful. Percy, you need an absolute scrub down. So they see this beautiful weaver with all these guinea pigs, and they're amazed. Her name is Cece Cersei. She's there to spruce them up, baby. And Annabeth is escorted away for her own makeover. Cece gets in Percy's head about being like too fucking ugly. You are too ugly. You are busted looking. You'd be hot if you just drank this. You'd also be taller. Your teeth would be fixed.
And this is hilarious. Percy just like absentmindedly drinks this fun little drink, turns into a guinea pig, and is plopped down with what is presumed a bunch of other guinea pigs that were formerly men. And he can now only listen to Cece and Annabeth talk.
And this is the moment when it started turning for me. The narrative turns here. Annabeth comes back. She's looking beautiful.
Hot.
Percy is a guinea pig, and he notes in his head that Annabeth actually looks really good.
I love it. I'm hoping it's a slow burn. I'm gonna manifest that.
Yeah.
Um, Annabeth is being recruited by Cersei because she's a sorceress, obviously, and she's like, "You can be a sorceress too. You're pretty. We want pretty people to be sorceresses. That's a pretty
Hmm.
fair trade, honestly." But Annabeth is going to fight her. She dumps some of the vitamins into the guinea pig cage. The guinea pigs surround some of these vitamins, and guinea pigs are popping up into dudes left and right. And we learned that one guinea pig is none other than Blackbeard the pirate.
Yeah, Blackbeard and some of his merry men. They come back, Argan and
Argan and
I
Bargain.
was
I
gonna say
don't know.
Gargan, I don't know, but I don't think
Yeah.
it rhymes.
We'll
So
workshop it.
Annabeth and Percy are like, "How are we gonna get off this island?" And then they coincidentally spot Queen Anne's Revenge, which is
I'm
Blackbeard's
sorry.
boat.
I want to dissect this scene for a little bit because it's like they're like, "How do we get off the island? How do we get off the island?" And they like, but they do like kind of like a slow pan. They're like, "Okay, there's a submarine, there's a very modern looking boat, and there's an ancient pirate ship." And Percy's like, "Yes, I know how to man this pirate ship because of who my dad is. It's in me." And I'm like, "Okay, yeah, we're doing taking the giant pirate ship."
Percy's a man of taste. He said, "You know what? That looks rich. I
Yeah.
want that."
and and they get on it. Percy's manning the sails, cutting the ropes, tying the things. They sail pretty much to where they need to be. They get to where the Cyclops Polyphemus lives. That was a weird double of word. Polyphemus lives.
It's pretty
And they can
tricky.
feel the presence of the golden fleece being here, so they're like, great, 2 for 1.
But they don't get there just yet because as they're going
Yes.
through there's a little bit of backstory here. Annabeth explains why she doesn't like Cyclops in general. Grover once accidentally led them into Brooklyn. Very funny. And he tied
Oh my
Luke.
god, I'm so sorry, Maggie. I totally skipped one of my notes. You keep going.
That's okay. So he tied Luke, Talia, and Grover up. Annabeth was 7. She had to fight them. She stabbed the Cyclops in the foot, but she blames herself essentially for Talia dying because she thinks that this really delayed their journey.
Yeah.
Percy has a nightmare later that night about Kronos, and when they wake up, they're approaching Siren Island. Percy
Oof.
is like, surely people of sound state of mind, we're gonna plug our ears with wax. But Annabeth is like, ooh, actually, can I be contrarian?
Yeah.
I've heard that the sirens actually sing what your heart's desire is, and I'm really curious to figure out what it is. So, Percy, how about you lead with the
Oh,
wax and tie me up to a post?
Annabeth, this is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. She's also like, if you survive it, it'll make you stronger, like mentally, and I really need to put myself through that.
I mean, that's how I feel about
So
the Midwest winters. So I'm
yeah,
always like a builds character.
it doesn't. It doesn't actually. So we now get a scene of Percy stuffed to the brim with wax in his ears, just kind of manning his pirate ship wheel and turning back every so often to see like Annabeth, tears streaming down her face, presumably yelling at Percy to let her go, reeling at the ropes that have tied her up, begging and pleading, but he can't hear a single thing. And the moment he turns his head and turns back, he realizes that bitch is gone and he did not take any of her tools away and she was able to cut herself free.
So she jumps in, she dives in, she is swimming. Percy can swim faster since Poseidon is his dad, and she is about to reach the island. If she reaches the island, she is done. He grabs her by the ankle, and the only way to drown out the siren's song is by pulling her underwater, but she is not going to survive if he does that. So he encases their head in a bubble, and she finally fights the curse. She comes to, and she is sobbing in his shoulder as they
Yeah,
get
it's
back
really
on.
sweet. And like, yeah, it's Percy's such a good friend. He has no judgment. He totally gets it. So they get back onto the ship and they continue finally away from Siren's Island.
Beautiful moment. You're probably
Mhm.
wanting to know what her fatal flaw is. It's hubris.
Yep.
Yep, it's pride. She thinks she's better than the
Wow. Who
gods.
would have guessed
Who
that?
would have guessed
What a
that?
surprise. So now we're back into the note that I unfortunately jumped too forward to. They sail further
That's
and
okay.
get to the Cyclops' house. And they can just feel the presence of the Golden Fleece here. Their 2 for 1 quest is going to go off without a hitch. And they notice there's a bunch of sheep that are essentially guarding his area where he lives. But they realize these aren't normal sheep. They watch the sheep get fed, and they're basically piranha sheep. They will just attack and destroy anything that is thrown at them. So they're like, we can't go through the sheep area.
They go around, they see the backside, which is this mountain, and they're like, we're going to have to climb to the top of this. So when they finally get to the top, they are able to see into Polyphemus's cave, and he has Clarice tied up over a boiling pot. I'm sorry, Clarice pisses me off
Oh,
from here
I
on
hate
out.
her. She's awful.
She has no dexterity. There's no grace or understanding to the fact that you have to kind of trick this Cyclops. She keeps outing Grover, and the Cyclops is like, "What are you talking about?" And Grover's like, "Oh, she's delusional, sweetheart. She's been held over the boiling pot." And Clarice is like, "Grover, you satyr, you little goat. What are you talking about?"
Yeah, I don't know if we mentioned Polyphemus's whole thing of why he's kept Grover alive this long is because since Grover's in a wedding dress and veil, he's going to marry Grover because he thinks Grover's also a Cyclops. So Clarice outing him as a satyr and not a Cyclops girl, bad. Real,
This is
real
why you
bad.
don't out anyone in your life. And if I could take this as a learning moment, keep people in the closet who want to stay in the closet, period.
And I'll let you die on that hill, Meggie.
Don't out
Um,
them.
but it's not all bad for Clarice because she's now going to get a husband out of this. Cyclops is like, I'm going to marry you instead, Clarice. That sounds awesome. I can deal with the two eyes. I don't judge. Um,
Well, he's like, I'm gonna take you instead. And Grover's trying to delay it. He's like, "Oh, you want to eat me right now? But wouldn't I taste really good with mangoes? I saw some
yeah.
mangoes. If you go find them, mango chutney. Imagine that." And he goes, "Mangoes. That's awesome." And he walks away and he's like, "What do mangoes look like?"
Yeah, he's like, what are mangoes? It's so funny. So Cyclops is going to put them in the cave dungeon while he goes looks for mangoes. And Annabeth and Percy now are going to try and get this giant rock off of this cave. It's not going to work. They are not strong enough between the two of them.
No, they're gonna have to trick the Cyclops. So Annabeth has a plan. It involves Percy riding underneath the sheep, and Annabeth is gonna wear her invisible hat, do a little Odysseus 2.0. She's gonna start saying that she's nobody because Polyphemus cannot see her, and he's like, "You again? How dare you? Why are you here?"
It's very, very funny. So Invisible Annabeth, like Maggie has said, is taunting the Cyclops. Percy is able to get to Grover and Clarice while she is taunting him, and he's going to be able to cut them free. But it's not all happy days because the Cyclops does catch the invisible Annabeth. And now it is boss battle time. They have to fight Polyphemus.
So Polyphemus does drop Annabeth. She kind of hits her head on the rocks. That's not good.
No.
And Percy has to start yelling that he's nobody to distract as Clarice and Grover attack on the sides. During this little scuttle, Annabeth and Grover manage to get across the bridge to the other side of the land. Clarice and Percy are going to follow after because it's all about getting Annabeth to safety right now
Mhm.
and cut it down. But sadly, once they get to the other side of the bridge, Polyphemus is right there next to them. And I gotta say, this is the inciting event that pisses Percy off.
Yeah. Yeah, he is mad. So Percy finally gains advantage on the Cyclops. He's going to go needle to the eye, but the Cyclops starts breaking down. He's crying, he's pleading, he's begging for mercy, and Percy can't help but think about Tyson and how misunderstood his friend is, and he decides to show the Cyclops forgiveness, and the Cyclops was tricking him. He immediately goes back for the attack. But who else comes into this cave other than Tyson, who's throwing rocks at the Cyclops and is able to lodge one in the Cyclops's throat so he starts choking?
Lodged in his throat, he's fallen over the cliff. Tyson's so excited. He just kind of saved Percy, which is all he's ever wanted to do.
Yeah. And he's also able to get the golden fleece. Like he's doing everything. And he's like,
He's doing
oh,
great.
and Percy, like, while all this is happening, is like, wait, how are you here? And he's like, oh, Rainbow came. And like Rainbow grabbed and was following the ship the whole time because he wanted to hang out. It's so cute.
It's so adorable. So Tyson gets the golden fleece. He gives it to them because he is going to lure these man-eating sheep away so they don't chase them to the beach because they're like, "Oh, Tyson's gonna feed us. He's a cyclops."
Yeah. So while they're waiting for the Golden Fleece to fully revive Annabeth, they're waiting on the shore, and Percy is willing his pirate ship to come to them. And I'm sure this is now the time that he's wishing he chose some sort of electric boat because a pirate ship does not move fast. So he's like willing this ship to come. It's coming, but it's not going quickly. So while this is all still happening, Polyphemus is still alive. He is going in for round two and he is targeting Tyson. So it's now a battle on the beach. They are able to escape again. And just as they're about to get on the ship, Clarice pissing me the fuck off,
I know.
starts taunting the Cyclops, being like, "Yeah, we got away. You're so dumb. That's why we got away." And the Cyclops throws boulders at the ship, destroying it. So they're stranded.
Because he can figure out where her voice is just by
Yeah.
Percy stepping on his eye.
What was she thinking?
I don't know. So they're underwater, and since the ship has collapsed, it's also pulling them underwater. The force of the tide is.
Yeah.
Percy and Tyson, they do manage to call Poseidon's horses. They get on the horses, they're carried safely to Miami Beach, which is so funny. If anyone knows anything
Hilarious.
about Miami Beach, it's not safe. I went skinny dipping one time at 4 a.m. and all of my shit got stolen.
Oops.
That
I'm glad
wasn't
they
my
didn't take
fault.
your clothes. That would have been hilarious.
That would have been so
Um,
bad.
but it's very funny because these hippocampi, they're like, we don't go further than this. They will not get them like right up onto the
Mm-mm.
beach.
They're smart. They're
They're
not going to go to Miami Beach.
they're gonna have to swim to Miami Beach. Thank you very much. We'll stay out here in the ocean. Once they get ashore, they realize they've been gone for 10 days. And Clarice is finally a little humbled. She tells them her prophecy, and they're all kind of dissecting it. And Percy's realizing, like, you can complete your quest, Clarice. I'm going to give you the golden fleece. We're going to give you all our money. You're going to fly to camp to save the tree because we're on a tight deadline. We need to get back today with the golden fleece.
And as he comes back to the beach after Clarice has been put in a cab, he is apprehended by Luke. Because Luke's whole plan was like, you guys do all of this, all the dirty work, and I'll just take the golden fleece from you guys when you come back.
Yeah. So now they're back on Princess Andromeda in a little stateroom, and Luke's mad. His plan didn't work. They don't have the golden fleece. What's Luke gonna do? Percy has a single coin in his pocket, throws it out the window, and makes a silent prayer, basically to start an Iris message that will get Luke to admit his whole plan to everybody in the camp. And Luke's like, "Why are you asking me all of this again? You know all of this." And Percy's like, "I just needed everybody else to hear it. Thank you."
It is true, yeah. In the middle of Luke dueling him, and Luke is just so confused why he is having to talk about this again. But as Luke is dueling him, he's gotten 2 hits on Percy. He is about to finish him. Chiron shows up with his entire family and saves them all, manages to get them away from Luke. They get on his family's back and they gallop away.
Yeah,
One of them
boy.
keeps being like, Tyson, you gotta go on a diet, buddy. It is hard to carry you.
So funny. And they basically get like a little pit stop in where a lot of Chiron's family lives. Chiron's basically saying, like, I love my family, but I am just not like them. They're big partiers, and he's just more of a books guy.
They're Midwestern. That's Midwestern if I've ever
I
seen a
love
family.
this too, because Chiron's like, well, I guess it was all a draw, wasn't it? Luke got away. We got the golden fleece. There's still plenty of problems, but we got something and lost some other things. So that's it.
And Percy's like, what about Kronos? I'm really worried about Kronos. And Chiron's like, don't worry about Kronos. He's only going to destroy you when he's absolutely sure you're of no use to him. And Percy's like, how do you know that? And Chiron goes, Percy, do you not pay attention to your Greek mythology classes? Whose son am I? I'm Kronos' son.
And Percy's like, oh shit, that makes a lot of sense. Oops. And with
Oops.
big oops, they finally make it back to camp. Tantalus is gone. He was dismissed by Mr. D after Luke's big admission. And they make it back to camp. The fleece has been put on the tree. And Chiron says, you know what, everybody, to celebrate, I'm keeping the chariot races.
The arts and culture cabin may burn down, but don't worry. Chariot races are back on.
Yeah, we'll keep them. While they are kind of adjusting back to life, Percy's at the stable one day, and Hermes approaches Percy. And Percy feels bad. He wasn't able to like save Luke from eternal damnation. But Hermes is like, you did your best, and I have a letter for you because that is what I do as the god of messagings. And it's a letter from his dad.
2 words, brace yourself. That's it.
Well, what an absentee dad Poseidon is. I get that they all are, but really not like a love dad or like good
So
job.
Percy's like, well, I kind of wish I got something more from my dad, but I get it. He's kind of busy, whatever. And when he gets back to his cabin, Tyson's like, Percy, you're never going to guess what Poseidon gave me. An internship at Cyclops Forge down under the water.
So Rainbow's gonna take him down to the Cyclops Forge that's in the middle of the ocean because Tyson's gotten really good at tinkering when making gadgets.
Mhm.
He even made Percy a shield watch, like a watch that turns into a shield that he's able to use during the chariot race that they're able to win. So it's all very exciting. Um,
Yeah.
but after they win the chariot race, Percy is woken up at in the middle of the night by Grover. Big theme in this book of Grover waking up Percy in the middle of the night. And he takes him over to Talia's tree. And the Golden Fleece has fixed the tree. He's like, that's awesome. And
It's actually done its job too well.
there's a girl on the ground who wakes up and it's fucking Talia. The Golden Fleece has resurrected her.
Now, this is going to be really interesting because there is a scene in this book that is a brief moment that Percy has a dream about
Yes.
him and who we've now realized is Talia dealing with Kronos' sarcophagus. And it seems like she got sucked up by the sarcophagus, is how I interpreted that
Yeah.
dream. So I don't know how this is going to go because, as we know, the prophecy is one of the big three is going to save Olympus or end it. So now there's like,
And
it
now
could
there's
be
another
either of them.
option. So shit's about to go down. Book three is going to be crazy. Book three, Titan's Curse. But before we do that, we're going to do our top five. And as we were reading this, Maggie and I realized, like, wow, cruise ship, that's a fun evil layer. But what if there was a better evil layer for Luke to have to transport not only his cronies, but also Kronos and his sarcophagus as well?
And we've come up with a really robust list, I would say. Number
Really cover all the
five
bases.
covered all the bases. We would say if Luke could have a villain's lair, maybe it would be Wendy's. He strikes us as a burger guy who might have a special Luke Happy Meal there.
Little frosty in there. What's not to like? Coming at number four, four bed bro pad duplex, the kind you'd have in college. Feels very Luke. He'd probably offer you a Mountain Dew. There'd probably be some sort of stain on the couch that you're sent to sit on. So that would be fun.
His own Mojo Doja Casa house.
Yes.
Number three, we were talking about, and specifically Laura brought up a helicopter with the sarcophagus hanging down from it. I encourage you guys, if you have not seen this video, I can't stop thinking about
Gotta
it.
see it.
There is a video of a helicopter airlifting someone out of the mountains, and the bed that they are on is spinning so
Amazing.
fast.
Absolutely amazing. You would die. Number two, nothing's really gonna top the helicopter. Maybe we should have moved that up. That's so funny. The
Oh,
last two are more practical. Number two, a USPS store, especially since Luke is the son of Hermes, who we know is like the god of messaging. A USPS store is gonna give you space, transport, really everything you could be looking for.
and on top of that, number one, since Hermes does a lot of travel, I think a teleporting door would be
Oh,
awesome. We're never gonna see it. It's just
efficient.
like only appearing for Luke, so he is omnipresent like God.
Magic that shit. And hell yeah, that's the episode. Nailed it.
And if you want more hell yes, we're not on TikTok anymore, but a new exciting development. We're on YouTube Shorts. I don't understand how it works, but I am finding archival footage of Laura and I from 2017, 2018, and I'm uploading them. Some of the funniest videos are going to hit the web so soon.
Inside jokes, inside jokes. And we're also on email still, since email hasn't been canceled.
How do you market nowadays? Like, truly, word of mouth. Tell your friends.
Yeah, so Meggie and Laura present at gmail.com. I've got to get back into our inboxes. A lot of people are asking us if we want to read their books. I apologize for not getting back to you in a timely manner. But also, if you want to talk to us about things that aren't about reading your book, we'd love to hear your thoughts on just books in general, the books we're reading, the books we read in the past, what your favorite color is. We'll listen to all of it. We love pen pals.
Oh, we truly will. And we will see you next week.
All right, love you.